why am I sharing information that belongs to us to a different country? Because these bots are always gathering data from our country. So whatever I feed it, we take on the other side. Then something about sovereignty came in. We need to change something. We need to be different. We can't be sharing our data. Imagine someone in a big office putting in a document that is confidential, and then it's being kept in a different country. Somebody has a copy of that. So in the future, it's risky. So what we discussed at the moment was to bring up an infrastructure that helps us to create AI that can run on a simple device offline, like ChatGPT. It keeps your data on your phone. And in a few months, we were releasing this, an AI that takes a picture without internet. Talk to it. It gives you feedback, real feedback, not like something hallucinating. When we show the world that this is possible, some countries started replicating it, like benchmarking on what we do, so that they can also do it for the country.
Welcome yet again to another episode of the podcast on Uganda. Today's segment is on sectors. And you already know on this podcast, we love anything AI because everybody's using AI to be more efficient, to be more effective, to reduce on the time spent on different tasks. And today, as always, we are in luck. We have the one and only Roland Ganafa, and he is a CEO. He is actually a co-founder of AI Studio Uganda. We've had so many people talking about AI on this podcast, but particularly we want to understand how building Uganda's sovereign AI infrastructure alone is going to supercharge us into the middle class economy, because we've had guests coming on and telling us, well, that is OpenAI. Ours is a private one. Let's now understand the infrastructure, right? What does it take to build a developers community? We've had guests telling us we actually have developers, but the jobs for developing are going to Brazil, are going to India. Are we using our own developers in Uganda? And how can we leverage even more developers that are under these communities like AI Studio Uganda? So welcome to the podcast. Roland, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, Roland is all the way in Tororo, but he said he had to make time for this conversation. So patriots, you can see the caliber of leaders who sacrifice their time to come and speak to us so we can learn a thing or two to help us use that into our businesses. So why did you start this AI Studio Uganda?
So I was one of the beta testers of ChatGPT, the one from OpenAI that everyone is using. One of the beta testers trying to test, see how it reacts to people. And then boom, a few months it was out and everyone was like ChatGPT, ChatGPT. Then I was like, why am I sharing information that belongs to us to a different country? Because these bots are always gathering data from our country. So whatever I feed it, we take on the other side. Then something about sovereignty came in. I was like, no, we need to change. We need to change something. We need to be different. We can't be sharing our data. Imagine someone in a big office putting in a document that is confidential, and then it's being kept in a different country. Somebody has a copy of that. So in the future, it's risky. So in a developer community, I was giving a talk, telling them what I've been creating and what we are doing. Then somebody said, this is interesting. I know people who are looking for developers who are doing really good work on ground. Then I was like, okay, when is this? He scheduled a meeting for me with some people from Science, Technology and Innovation. So when I went for that meeting, I found a few colleagues where we had the same vision. We wanted to build something sovereign for the country. So what we did was to sit down, brainstorm, then look at what really works for us at the moment. Because AI needs power, it needs compute. So what we discussed at the moment was to bring up an infrastructure that helps us to create AI that can run on a simple device offline, like ChatGPT. It keeps your data on your phone. And in a few months, we were releasing this, an AI that takes a picture without internet. Talk to it. It gives you feedback, real feedback, not like something hallucinating. No, remember it's offline, but it's working like ChatGPT on your mobile phone. Apart from taking a picture, you can also just text it and it gives you more information about that. And it was a good innovation. And let me tell you this was incredible for the global south. Apart from Uganda, when we show the world that this is possible, some countries started replicating it, like benchmarking on what we're doing, so that they can also do it for the country.
But is it really sovereign then? So, for example, the foundations of the software, is that truly owned by, for example, yourselves? I think we've had guests on who have told us that the foundation is the same as the open source ones. How does that work?
Okay, let me explain it like this. You see, these technologies have open source and then they have closed source. So the open source, you can replicate it, work for you. What do I mean? An example I would give you, if we benchmark on what they're doing and we also bring it to our side, change it, customize it to our own needs. But when you give it everything, it stores them here without sending them out.
For example, like you were mentioning, our Ministry of ICT, I mean, today they're big on data protection rights. That means they also need to protect our data, all these institutions, NSSFs, and the ministries that collect data, say lands registry and commission. It would be very important to know that our data is safe. So what have you noticed in the few months that you have been doing this? What have been the trends? Because AI technology is also is proliferating too fast. So what have you noticed along the journey that you're also paying attention to?
What's happening now, most people are jumping on it and others are using wrappers. What do I mean? I mean, you get an API for OpenAI for ChatGPT. You create your own bot, but you give it that API key. So that key won't make you sovereign. It will always pick whatever you're doing and they can switch it off in one day and you go back to zero. Like you see you built your product, but the foundation is weak. And then when the foundation breaks, everything goes down.
So I'll give you an example, maybe also for the watcher to understand this more, just as I'll also be understanding it. So we currently, in my 9 to 5, created agentic bots, but also we did some coding in our agent and then took it to Claude to create software and an app, right?
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, our information is really on open source. Now, what are the disadvantages of applications like ours that we create like this for people who are doing it with this little knowledge as opposed to developer knowledge like yours?
Okay, for starters, I would say ChatGPT, it's not good enough, but Cloud Code is good. So Cloud Code can develop for you something very good you can use. But the risk here is if Trump works and then says, "Sweet Uganda, what happens next?" People are trying to reach your bot, but they can't get anything. So it's completely off. It happened to one of my friends in Nairobi. He created a tool and everyone was using it. People were paying, but he was using another company in the US. So the company had to resolve what they were using to do other businesses. Like they shifted from what they're doing and they had to kill everything. So what happened to this guy? The business fell in a minute. People started calling him. Remember, they had paid subscription. So it's risky because anytime you can be off.
Yeah.
The GPTs are the ones you create using OpenAI ChatGPT Premium. Like I said, when you have ChatGPT Premium, you can be able to create your own. We call them GPTs. You call them agents. Okay, yeah, but it's the same. So you give it information, you train it, it trains on that information and then starts working for you. So what I was saying, it is risky because they are collecting data from you and they improve their products every day from what you give them.
Have you seen any examples in Uganda of people using your independent AI as opposed to the open source ones? Well, what are the differences?
Okay, we have people doing AI here. We have Sandbird. Have you
Yeah.
heard of Sandbird AI?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've heard of Sunbird AI.
Yeah, so there's also Makerere AI Lab. That's in Makerere. Makerere has a few AI labs with them, health AI, then AI lab. So they have them. Then there are others in the private sector who are building marketing tools. People are building marketing tools for their businesses and then building it for different businesses. So, like I said, the risk that happened to someone in Nairobi can still happen to them
Yeah.
because those guys can just wake up one day and then say, we're no longer doing this. We have shifted to another business, and then everything collapses.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So
the thing is to create your own.
yeah, the best thing is to create your own. But you can
Mm.
realize that these GTPs, for example, are quite affordable for most businesses. There are quite a number of tools that will easily create your website with under $12. What are the advantages of, for example, working with a developer here? Because from experience, like I said at the start of the conversation, some brands are choosing to work with Indians or people far away because they have cheaper rates. But how much confidence do you give a brand to actually use the local talent, the local developers? Is it
Yeah,
the same cost? Is it a bit more? Because I feel like it's a bit more than what we are getting now on the internet.
let me give an example. You see, AI has made it simple for everyone to access. So when you have local developers and then you pay for the tools like Cloud Code can help you build something faster. You have a local developer who understands code, then
Yeah.
he's using a tool called Cloud Code. It's going to be faster and it will be cheaper because if it's you paying and then you bring them on board and tell them, look, we have enterprise subscription. We want you to develop this for us. They'll be faster because they understand you can work with them with time, but then it's risky to work with someone who is outside because now every company here in Uganda is trying to use these tools and empower these local developers we have around to create for you something that really works for you instead of outsourcing someone in a different country. Sovereignty is about empowering the locals. Yes, when we started AI Studio, there's a big company that reached out. They reached out to us, yet in their suppliers, they had Indians who were developing systems for them. But
Yeah.
then they were like, let's give a chance to our local talent. Let's empower them. These are the same people who are going to work for Brazil, German, and then we get people who don't even know our country to work on our products. They can wake up one day and do something. So
Yeah.
I strongly agree companies are using our local developers because they know how to work, they know how to develop. They just need a tool that makes them faster.
Yeah. I see the point you're making there because we've used developers from abroad because they seem to be faster, like you say, but also cheaper. So one would charge $1,000 and the Ugandan would charge $3,000. But the rate at which they were working, you'd see really their return on investment is pretty much clear. So
Mm.
that's nice to know that even the developers here can use these open AI tools, but that still takes us back to the lack of sovereignty then if they're using those tools. So how would they then work if they were using the closed source tools?
Okay, the vibe code. So a vibe is giving an AI tool to develop for your website. You don't know how to audit the code. So
Yeah,
you're building something that is not secure. But if you have a developer who knows every structure, every line of code, and this same developer is using AI, your code is secure because he knows where the loopholes are. He knows how to protect that same system. than someone, currently everyone is a developer. I can just sit here and develop something within minutes, but it's
Yeah,
not secure. Yeah,
no,
so you need someone who understands the code. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So, based off of the landscape, because you probably have a lot of developers within your ecosystem, what then is the opportunity, especially if an investor is listening in or a young entrepreneur or even young developer is listening, where are the opportunities to tap into? Where can people put their money? We've had people on the podcast telling us that Ugandans have their money, it's just seated somewhere. Where do they put it to support studios like AI Studio Uganda, just to help us build more sovereign AI infrastructure? Because I can also imagine the infrastructure alone is not developing as fast as this technology is. So where do they put their money?
I think investors, what I would want from them is to provide local compute. There's a NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a few small computes. There's a DGX. It's small, but it can help you train an AI model locally and store it on that device or in the cloud, still locally. In Uganda, we have sovereign cloud given by a company called AfriCloud. It's called ABQ. It's at Raxio, and Raxio is Rock Telecom.
Yeah.
So Rock has that data center in Amave. So if you're training your AI, everything stays on that local cloud. What I want is, because Ugandans have money, even if you're going to Chikubu, those people have money. If they understand how AI works and how they can also invest and get a return on investment, they have the money to buy this compute. It's just a simple device. We have one.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
most of it cost, the smallest one costs around it. Our local developers are limited because they don't have this. They don't have access to this.
What does
That's
it
why
cost?
they have the knowledge. It's around 18 to 22 million UGX. But
Well, we had a former guest who was telling us capital is within. We need to find it. It's within Uganda. Hmm?
yeah,
And that
people
is
have money here,
people have money now. For that
but I
person
don't
who has
know.
their yeah, they don't know where to put it. They don't know how to use it. Now, I wonder for that person who is listening, they have their money. Can you give us successful, like practical business ideas that have come from the AI studio that they've built businesses and these investors have seen their return on investment?
So currently we don't have investors, but we have B2B, business to business.
All right.
So the products we build for them, they are customized to their own needs. And it helps them save a lot of time because it's fast. So their business processes are becoming faster, and like when your work is streamlined and you have something that is working for you 24/7, you you're sure that you're serving your customers faster. There's what we can do. I'll give an example. There's a business I created for them, a virtual try-on. So this AI is just a simple website for her business, but it's powered by AI. She's selling clothing. So you select any clothing you want. You can also upload your picture. Then the AI will match you with the clothing and you see if it looks nice on you.
Yeah.
So this has been able to boost business and people see how they will look like in their outfits they have chosen. And now they feel, like we waste a lot of time looking for what will it look nice on me. So there are those small problems. So this
Yes.
custom system can still work for people in Chukubo and people will be paying a monthly fee. It can
Yeah.
be like 50,000. So if somebody invests in someone who's doing something like that, they are sure they will be getting money on their investment because these are things that people really want to use and they save a lot of time in their businesses. So to create something like if you say use cases, I would say we know our own problems. So those we know examples for virtual try-on outside there, like how can people buy from me?
Yeah.
People respond, they'll be like, yeah.
Sorry, the internet is going off and on. I hope the message is a bit clear to the listener. But I think you're absolutely right. Even for us, when we were solving what challenges we had in-house, it's some of these repetitive tools we have as a business, right? The things you constantly do the same way. That is why we created those apps that we were talking about earlier. The time between delivering to a customer and engaging with them, we cannot easily predict what their expectations are based on the other clients. So we thought the process shouldn't take any longer. It should be very seamless and continuous. And I've also had that, people are reaching out to farmers with digital software where the phone doesn't have to have internet, but these businesses are reaching out to farmers, sharing information. If it's seeds they're selling, then they're going to get information about the seeds if they dial a specific number. And for me, it's quite exciting if we can find out, for example, the cure of HIV with AI, if we can find AI for the problems you are talking about. You go to a hospital to get a screening for cancer and you find traces of it or something. So for me, that is game changing. And that is why I'm a supporter of this technology, because there's a lot we can benefit from it as opposed to lose.
Yeah. Have you ever interacted with a WhatsApp agent?
Yeah, the
So
ones from people's websites.
there's one. You see, you can get one of your numbers, create an agent on your number. So whenever people reach out, that agent is going to interact with them as if it's you interacting with them because it's faster.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
like living people have been sending you messages, but you don't have time to reply. Just imagine
Yes.
having that agent replying in time. So now it's trained on your business. Now it's chatting with someone like no one knows if it's chatting with you and it's giving me time. Does all the work and the talking, then it gives you like a notification telling you that now we have secured a business. This person is this and this. We can deliver this in this time. So
Yeah.
you're sleeping, but you have something that is working for you 24/7. The same
Yeah.
applies for the hospital. If somebody can create the same agent from Lago or other hospitals, before you go there and waste time in the line, you can chat and then you get the final results. And then, you just go there for just business, picking something and leaving instead of being there the whole day waiting. So this kind of lot of businesses. So what I'm saying, people already have systems they're using at the moment. So what they just need to do is to just put in a module for AI. You already have a system adding into that system and everything will be fast.
Yeah. You have said once before that your degree is not your competitive advantage. Can you highlight
Yeah.
more on that?
Yeah. So when we're talking about use cases, we start with your degree. Your degree is the foundation. You have knowledge of what you have studied. So how are you going to use that knowledge to create something useful for the rest of the people? So I have a friend, he's one of the millennials. They've been in the industry. They did psychology. And now they have a website where you go through simple questions, mental health. So you go through the simple questions and then the AI rates you and then it recommends a therapy. The people who train AI are the psychologists, the people that do social sciences, people that
Yeah.
the courses that we are like, these are funny, but those are the people who are training AI. So whatever you know and whatever you're doing, there's an opportunity where you can apply in AI. So use your
Yeah.
knowledge with AI and see how you're going to be. You're going to be super faster
In your
and you're going
operations,
to solve things.
so in your operations, where are you finding the challenge? Surely there should be some challenges.
Yeah, the challenges are there. Still trying to learn. There's still adoption challenges. People are still trying to understand it, and some are scared. They think it may take over what they are doing. So what we can do, or like what we are doing, we are trying to show people like how they can work with AI. We have been on
Yeah.
this road trip with NSSF.
Yeah.
It's Kampala, now we're in Tororo, we have been in Bali. That's
What are
the
you doing with NSSF?
interesting. So they have a theme, is man or machine.
Yes,
So
man or
how do you work?
machine.
Mhm. So how do you work with AI? Not you being scared about AI, but how are you going to be able to work with AI? So we're going through universities, showing people how they can work with AI, not to be scared, but AI has been around, just that now it's visible. It has been invisible in the background, but now it's visible. But how are you going to work with it? We are preparing
Yeah.
them for the next future, because after they leave campus, they have to be knowing how to work with it, with them right now, for them to go and then start. So this is a good program, and we have seen people trying to understand, because they were scared and they were like, wow, why am I studying this degree? They were scared, but
Yeah.
then you tell them if that degree is how you're going to learn how to use AI in everything you want, because it's something that has all the knowledge in the world. So if what you understand and you add it with AI, then it's an enabler with you, not a competitor.
That is very true. Now we
Yeah.
have our second last question that we ask every guest that comes onto this podcast. And this question is about achieving a middle class economy. Now, as you know, technology has really supercharged or proliferated the use case of AI. And if we were to do everything right, what would you think then it would take for Uganda to achieve a middle class economy? Because if brands are being able to use AI for their betterment, hospitals are able to use AI to already detect disease, for schools to be able to incorporate the knowledge of different disciplines into the students to go and solve problems in this world, what do you think then it will take?
First, if we all try to teach people around us instead of waiting, then other small companies doing AI, we are doing our job, everyone is doing their job. So if we try to teach people how to talk to these tools, when we create our own for everyone to be able to use, now they know how to use them, because it's like having a phone, you know how to use it. So our pathway is this. With the offline AI, remember now everyone can access it on their phone wherever you go. So when we add in the languages of Sunbird, the local languages, Ate Solus, Galunyankole, and then these
Yeah.
people are able to use it offline, they'll learn how to use AI. Now, when we develop AI for business, people know how to use these tools. So it's the literacy first, teach the people, and then when you bring in the business, we can be able to achieve the goal. So I believe even the teachers should be able to learn how to use these tools to plan their lessons. You see, USSD,
Yeah.
I lead a developer community for over 600 developers. And these people, most of them focus on the 2G technology. The USSD talked about the ones that farmers are using. You see, like you can build AI and then replicate it with a USSD. So if somebody is chatting with the USSD like that, so and so, and then it gives you line. The whole information is powered by AI in the background, but this person can access it on a community phone.
That's what
So,
I'm talking about, especially with the farmers in the remote areas.
so instead of waiting for compute, we may not reach there, because waiting for the government or other private sectors to put in data centers, MTN is planning to do the same. But as we wait for them, we can still use the mobility and then the smartphones. So whatever you can access on a smartphone in an app powered by someone in the village, you can still access it using a.
Yeah. And do you think, for example, the challenges you're having in the different universities, the students you're mentoring, what is the uptake of the of AI? Are they taking this skill seriously, or what kind of skill would they need?
People are taking it seriously, and the turnover in all the universities, the best turnover was Victoria University. The
Yeah.
VC had to stop all the lectures They're streaming everything live because the future we are going into or the future we are in is powered by AI. So we need people who can know how to apply AI in everything. People who can do digital marketing using AI because now AI can generate videos for you, it can do flyers for you. So anyone can start a business in a day and you can develop your own website in a day. So there are things that AI is making our work simple. So in these universities, we met students. There's a student at MOBS doing international business. He came up with a tool where it connects, if I'm good in economics and then there's someone who needs to learn economics, it connects us to, if I log in and then that person logs in too, and is looking for someone who's good in economics, who is good in biology, the AI is going to link up those two people, and then you can have a one-on-one session. You can have a one-on-one session with a student maybe who understands that course or some campus. So this still like you pay like 10,000 to access
Yeah.
knowledge from a friend, a colleague. It links you up. So these students are using AI, and what we're showing them is how to use it appropriately. So there's also a student from UCU. She's a medical student. What she does, she uses notebook LLM. She uploads documents and then it summarizes for her the flashcards, like having a deep conversation with it.
Yeah.
So most of these kids are using AI, but they have to understand how to use it.
Mm.
There's a prompt engineering, there's also contextual engineering. Anyone can just come and talk to AI. But contextual engineering, you have to go deep for the
Explain the
role.
context of whatever
Yeah,
you're prompting it with.
yeah. So you give it a role, a task, concept, all that, so that it understands like what you really want. So this is what we're trying to show them. From a bad prompt to a good prompt. When they become good at that, I think we're still visiting the universities and we're going to be shocked by what
Yeah.
students are doing. Yeah.
Oh,
So even here
I
in
really
Usita,
wish you the best of luck to even
uh,
find more insights in the field and from the different students, because I feel like students are the most eager to learn, very hungry for knowledge, and it's the
yeah.
best place I think to find insights, especially for tech.
Yeah. So the good thing is that when they get to know how to do this, these are the people who are going to boost the economy.
Yeah.
That's why they feel looking for the money and doing what. But for them, after teaching them, they are going to come up with brilliant ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you see like these cases everywhere. Now just imagine like all these road trips we're on, the tour. Today we're in Busitema. You're showing them the opportunities in AI and what they can do. So idea to life. They have idea.
Yeah.
So what they can do is maybe get Claude. So the reason why I'm saying Claude is the best. Claude Code.
Yes.
Cloud
Yes.
is, if you have your idea and use Claude. So just imagine every student in different universities doing the same. And they're also going to teach the others on how to do it. That's how we can achieve the goal we want.
Okay, so we have our very last question, which is the rapid fire. So three top answers that come into your mind for our two questions. The first question is, what are we currently doing in Uganda that will help us achieve a middle class economy? So we are already doing it and it will help us to achieve the goal. Then the second one is, what are we doing currently that we need to stop right away because it won't take us anywhere? So the first one, what are we currently doing so well that it will take us to achieve the middle class economy by 2040? One?
Okay, I think what we're doing right is we understand our businesses and how they run. What we just need to add on, I think, is the power of AI. The other
Some,
thing,
I
trends,
think the
but this
trainings,
time around, I think we are good. We just need more training on how to do it the right way.
okay. Then the third,
And the third is the good thing we're doing. I think it's we understand, like now we understand that we don't have to wait for years for this technology to reach us. We have it, and we are doing so much. to gain from it.
Yeah.
Like many businesses are trying to jump into this. So it shows that we love it.
Mm,
Yeah, it shows that we
yeah.
love it. Yeah, we want to improve what we're doing.
Yeah. So we are AI ready. Okay. Then the
Yeah.
second question, what are the things we are currently doing that we need to stop because they will not get us to the middle class economy? Rapid fire, your first answer?
That I mean, there's around people just writing books. Now, what if that book falls into water? You lose everything. So I think we should start documenting whatever we do and keep our data clean. When we have our data clean, it means that whatever AI we bring in, we'll be able to predict how our business are doing, and we get to know which products are moving out faster, or which ones we need to restock in. Yeah, I think everything goes back to data.
Yeah.
We should start keeping our data and document everything.
Yeah. Second?
I think we should stop talking and start acting.
Yeah.
We shouldn't just say things and then we leave them where they are. We can just start doing things like practical things, the things that can bring in value into the economy, I think, yeah.
Yeah. All right. The third?
The last one, I think we should stop looking at outside people or outside talent and focus on what we have in our country. Let's support our own, and then we see, because I'm a product of our own. I was supported by our own, and I'm still being supported by our own. Give a
Supporting
chance.
our own.
Yeah, and I'm also supporting our own. So I think all those businesses should give a chance to young talent instead of outsourcing people from outside.
No, I think that's a brilliant way to end this conversation. Is there something else you would have wanted to share that we haven't talked about?
Mm,
Where can we find you? If someone wants to follow up on what you have said, what is the best place to find you? I know you're on LinkedIn.
yeah,
Where else?
on X.
Mm-hmm.
They can also look out on AI Studio Uganda website and see what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have the AI Studio Academy where we're going to be training people on how to build these agents, on how to learn how to talk with AI. These
Yeah.
are completely all free.
Yeah.
And most of them will be online, others will be physical at Acacia Place
Yeah.
on level 4. So every month we always invite people. We show them the current trends and help them build something around their businesses.
Yeah.
And we are happy that it's working out because whenever they come, they live with knowledge.
I'm also very interested now, especially for my 9 to 5.
All right.
So I want to thank you so much, Roland, for making time this evening. You are far away training the next generation of innovators, creators, solution finders. So
Mm.
continue the work you are doing, and we wish you the best of luck. We hope you can train more and more young people on how to use AI for the betterment of our country.
Thank you for this
Wonderful.
opportunity. Yeah.